Alright, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is 10 Scariest Coincidences Caught on Tape. Let's check it out. And if you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. The more that you like this type of content, the more that I know that you specifically would like to see more of this specific type of content, okay? Let's check it out. Let's see what this takes us.
Coincidences happen around us all of the time, but usually we just don't have enough information to take notice. Here are 10 instances where the impossible has become reality.
Okay.
Number 10. A news reporter is doing a basic story about heavy traffic patterns in Gwinnett County, Georgia. When she stops and interviews a random person passing by, he politely comments about local transportation for a bit and then quickly goes on his way.
When they have its own public transportation, so Mark coming out here would definitely help out a lot.
The news reporter is later contacted by police for urgent questioning. A witness says that they saw a man rob a bank and then afterwards stop at a news van to conduct a short interview. The interview footage you see here, along with photos of a license plate and other surveillance footage, was enough for police to arrest him.
The level of wild you have to be to go and pilfer money from a bank and then go do an interview about said pilfering from the bank?
They identified the man as Eric Rivers and quickly took him into custody.
I mean...
Number 9. A news
That's not intelligent, sir.
team is reporting on a bank heist in Minnesota that happened yesterday when suddenly a bank employee comes flying out of the building, pointing out someone off camera.
Tyler, just 24 hours ago, this bank in North... What?
What?
Oh, that's the robber.
There's the bad guy right there.
Bro, turn the camera.
Says as he sprints towards the subject, who
Bro,
is
turn the
getting
camera.
into a van. As it turns out, a man named Ryan Lisko had just robbed this.
I mean, listen, I get it. If you're going to go ahead and do something as heinous as this, right, you're probably not excessively intelligent. So, of course, makes all the sense in the world that you go back to the scene of the crime or you do an interview. So, you might as well walked over and done an interview.
Same bank 2 days in a row. The news team just happened to be there reporting the first incident when the exact same thing unfolded for a second time right before their very eyes. Ryan was captured shortly thereafter and sentenced to nearly 10 years in prison. So fortunately,
I would have given him more, guys.
Won't happen a third time anytime soon.
Bro, probably the same bank as soon as he gets out, the day he gets out.
Number 8. Ethan Menard and his friend are out exploring when they find a long tunnel that gives off a creepy vibe. When they are commenting on how dark the tunnel is and just trying to keep calm in general, when suddenly a small child's voice chimes in somewhere behind them.
It's like pitch black in here.
It sounds like a doll.
The timing of this creepy small voice is quite a curious and morbid coincidence. It simply says hello at just the right moment during a pause in their conversation.
It's like pitch black in here.
Whether this was real or edited is up for you to decide, but I think there is a strong chance that something paranormal was down there.
Right. Yes, most likely.
Number 7. Rashawn Richardson
Well, they definitely added that in post.
was a star player for the Hillcrest High basketball team in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
He was practically unstoppable on the court and could easily sink 30 points in a single game. His legendary reputation as a star athlete grew for 9 months until one day everyone found out the real reason why he was so much better than everyone else. Rashawn is playing another nearly flawless game when the other team's coach recognizes him from somewhere a long time ago. The memory is hazy, but then it dawns on him. He clearly remembers coaching this student 7 years ago. He immediately alerts the school about the situation. As it turns out,
Go ahead.
Richardson is actually a full-grown man
Okay.
named Sidney Gilstrap Portley. He is 25 years old and is now facing numerous charges for falsely enrolling in a high school. including serious crimes stemming from his alleged 14-year-old girlfriend, who sadly had no idea of his true age and identity at the time. What's
Oh my god. Oh my god.
most incredible is how no one, from students to faculty members, even suspected him of being far older than he claimed.
Guys, the level of audacity that someone has to do something like this. Again, I mean, how about this? Every single video we've seen, minus the one where someone added like a child's voice in post, minus that one, right? It's been pretty crazy. You don't care. Like, why would you do this? You're a grown man. Go do something else with your life. He's trying to relive he's literally trying to relive his high school basketball years. And then you get a 14-year-old girlfriend, bro? Right.
Here's a quick video of him
Jail.
blending in at lunch. Tell me if you would suspect this man is in his mid-20s instead of 17.
Go ahead.
Underage.
Anyway, if he hadn't by coincidence played a game against his old high school team, then Sydney could have very well have remained in school to this day. After all, he wasn't scheduled to graduate from Hillcrest until the year 2020. It really makes you wonder if maybe one day something similar will be discovered about a student who goes to your school. What a coincidence that would be. Number
Probably.
6. Christina Carr is all alone in her old attic in
Okay.
New Jersey, but she feels like she is constantly being watched. She invites anything lurking in the shadows to make its presence known.
Is anybody in here with me?
It isn't long before she gets a response.
Let's go.
Goodness.
She does not hear it at the time, but the disembodied voice of an older woman timidly asks, "Hello." The voice sounds alarmed and confused, almost like it's asking for help. Christina continues to poke around the attic asking questions until she gets another potential sign in the form of distant sirens.
Store a few things, that's all. I hear some kind of alarm.
Let me know if you think this alarm was just a coincidence.
Yeah, bro. It was probably something happening in your area. How about this, bro? If this video specifically made this video as a compilation, then I'm going to make sure I record the next ambulance that passes by my house. And I'm going to say, you know what? Listen, this must be a coincidence.
Or if you think a paranormal presence was somehow trying to warn Christina to stay away from the attic. Number 5.
No.
Morning
Guys,
America was in the
go.
process of completing their daily segment when co-host Robin Roberts couldn't help but notice a striking similarity between a suspect.
bro, that's you.
From a previous story
And based off of some of the other stories, I'm letting you know right now, I truthfully believe whoever this is this person that was drawn.
and her co-host
It was
Josh
you. Go ahead and
Elliott.
turn yourself in, bro.
I don't know. You just remind me of someone all of a sudden. I'm just looking at you,
Where are you
and
going?
I can't.
Where are you going,
I
Roberts?
can't remember.
Well, the co-host, Josh, and the suspect certainly look alike. This wasn't the only person this was the case with. The original reporter who reported on the incident also looked disturbingly similar to the suspect.
Oh no.
Police really want.
Okay, bro, it's both of them. Go ahead and turn. Listen, both of you just go, and whichever one leaves is fine with me because I'm pretty sure that they basically drew both of their faces.
To get this guy. The police are on the hunt for the man
Yeah.
resembling this sketch.
Although
It's
cases
you
of
and the other guy.
coincidences where the newscaster looks like the reported suspect can certainly be humorous. They can also be quite creepy. This suspect is accused of attacking a woman after a traffic incident. Therefore, I hope the real suspect was brought to justice. Number 4.
And I always look up to the sky and I always say, "Hi, Dad."
That's how a YouTuber named Jennifer Moen5 pays her respects to her dad, who
Okay.
has since passed on. Then one day it looks like her father says hello back to her and her family.
Oh boy.
You can see a shimmering orb rise and fall to the ground as soon as she says hi to her father. I wanted to add that this is the only paranormal video on Jennifer's channel, which otherwise focuses on enjoying
But why is it paranormal?
some moments with family.
Is there something
so
I'm missing?
I really don't
Listen, again, I will say though, really quickly, I'm more likely to believe this exact scenario than any other scenario. Like, if you have a channel dedicated to the paranormal activity and something happens in all your videos, I'm going to be like, bro, you're creating a production. That's what you're doing, sir, or madam, obviously. But if she's like family channel, whatever it is, guys, and then something crazy happens one time, and then she goes back to her regular, scheduled programming, I'll believe that more likely. But I don't understand what exactly is happening here. An orb?
don't think this is video editing. I also wanted to ask that everyone please show the utmost respect when telling me if you believe this is real or fake, since it deals with the memory of a loved
guys.
When telling me if you believe, I also wanted to
Hold
ask
on.
that everyone please show the utmost respect when telling me if you believe.
All right, it's getting brighter, bro. This is a reflection off of the camera. This is an orb. Basically, when you have like a wide angle lens, like generally the ones that's used on like a any type of like maybe point and shoot camera or something, if you aim it at the sun, like if this wasn't aimed at the sun, I'd be like, you know what, maybe. The fact that the inside of the circle is like a super tight circle, that's basically the lens in front of the camera sensor. The sun is basically being reflected off of it. It's creating like lens flares and things. This isn't an orb at all. I can be respectful, sure, but that's not what we're looking at. And the fact that the phone or whatever this device is also moving, right? It's moving. If it was sitting still and it was and then the orb was still moving, then I'd be like, okay, it makes sense. But no, this is happening just based off of the camera itself.
I believe this is real or
fake, it's a
since it deals with the memory
thing
of a
that
loved
happens.
One.
Bro, like get a camera, like a DSLR, put a lens on it, point it at the sun, and create this exact trick.
Number 3. Like many YouTubers, Jack Stevens uses his channel to archive various vacation videos and family memories for his own personal enjoyment. Most of it is ordinary travel footage, but there's one video in particular that was taken during his stay in Biltmore Hotel in Providence, Rhode Island. That's extremely eerie. He's all alone in his room when a big light overhead starts acting up, so he starts to record it for proof. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but it's definitely weird how the lights only seem to flicker on and off when he's talking about them.
And as you can see, that's the lamp. It's hanging. Let's see. Oh, okay. There it goes. Did you see that?
Bro, it looks like a faulty wire.
I guess electrical malfunctions in an old hotel isn't that big of a deal, but that's not all that happens.
The Biltmore, bro?
When Jack Stevens
Give me something else.
finished recording all of the other rooms to prove that he really is all alone, he returns to the main room only to find the overhead lamp is now doing this on its own.
Okay, so I don't know how it is doing this.
It continues to swing in small circles for a full minute without any sign of slowing down. Even if this was fake and someone else was in the room to move it, the lamp should eventually stop swinging in circles, but it never does. At this point, Jack Stevens is sufficiently creeped out and has to check out of this hotel early. Number 2.
All right, listen. The swinging aspect is kind of creepy. If there's no one above him in that room, right? But all right, because if there's someone above him, then it's most likely something crazy happening upstairs, most likely in someone's bed, right? And that's causing some type of shaking. I am someone who tries to make everything make sense in my head if I don't understand it, but that my overall perception here, I perceive it to be someone doing something nasty above him, most likely in some type of bed, and there's movement happening, and the reason why it's not moving for one whole minute is because they're doing something extremely, adult in above him. And the wires, faulty wiring. The Biltmore is excessively old, bro. Like they would have to rip out the walls to basically fix that singular issue.
Twins were born in Ohio during the 1940s and share an amazing history full of startling coincidences. They were put up for adoption at only 3 weeks old and ended up with different last names. One of them was named Jim Springer and the other one was named Jim Lewis. But to cut down on confusion, I'll refer to them as Jim and Lewis from now on. So Lewis knew that he had a twin brother, but Jim did not. With the help of the courts, Lewis used his adoption papers to track his brother down a full 39 years later. When they finally met, the two quickly found they had a lot more in common than just genetics.
Guys, these stories are crazy. It happens often. It's like an odd genetic memory or genetic tie that they have, even though they're completely different humans raised in different scenarios that end up marrying women with the same names and having dogs with the same name and kids with similar names and things like that. It's such an odd thing. They go into the same like career paths and all types of similar hobbies. It's a phenomenon. How do we explain it? No idea.
Okay, so get this.
I'm guessing that's what's happening.
Different women named Linda.
Okay, yeah.
Definitely strange, but I guess it's not totally impossible. But then they both got divorced and remarried two different women named Betty. They both have sons and both are named James Allen. They even gave their dogs the same name of Toy. It gets even crazier.
There are a lot of stories like these.
Despite never meeting for most of their lives, they both got involved in law enforcement and even vacationed at the same small beach in Florida. Both even have different cousins who were named Larry. Their case was so phenomenal that the University of Minnesota decided to run tests to find out exactly how alike they really were.
All the tests Johnny showed so far that they're identical. It's just like the same person taking the test twice. They're that close.
That's a strange feeling.
Sure it is.
Some of these tests were very unlikely to produce the same results too. Like they would be put into different rooms and told to draw a picture. Out of all possible choices, they both chose to draw a man who looked very similar in both versions. Another experiment isolated them again and then asked them to make up a random story. Both of them, despite being in separate rooms, made up a story about a family working in a field. These strange coincidences clearly prove that twins tend to think alike, even when kept in separate environments. And if a complete stranger who thinks almost exactly like you isn't one of the creepiest thoughts imaginable, then I guess I don't know what is. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. I recently released a small mixtape and I'd love to know what you think of it.
What type of mixtape?
The circle
I don't even understand. What?
Top right corner, then tap my mixtape to give it a lit. Generosity
I respect
makes
it,
you
bro.
Beside it, then thank you. This way, you'll be notified of the new recently found in Camptown, Pennsylvania, and a local news reporter is digging for details. She arranges for an interview with someone named Matthew Haverly, a man who happens to live across from the creek where the person was found. He acts completely surprised about the situation and disavows any knowledge of what could have transpired.
Okay.
I had no clue. Sad to say that that's someone's either daughter, mother, whatever, both, child.
Hours later, police discovered that the person was, in fact, none other than Matthew's mother, which makes this last comment a terrible coincidence. If Matthew was aware beforehand that it was his mother floating in the creek, he gives absolutely no indication at the time. He ends the short interview by saying how the person was probably dumped in the creek out of town by hitmen.
It would be like a place where people from the city would want to put a body because most likely they wouldn't be found.
Police investigators don't buy this explanation.
Yeah, bro, listen, you are now suspect number 1. I'm telling you.
One bit. They raid his property and in his shed they find the same blue tarp that his mother's body was wrapped in. As of this date, he has been charged with a capital offense but not yet convicted. If he is found guilty, then this means out of sheer coincidence, the reporter had unknowingly scheduled an interview with the very same man who had taken his mother's life not too long ago. She may very well have been standing just a few feet away from a calm and collected psycho without realizing it. In an era of ever-increasing worldwide surveillance, the deep web operates as the last bastion of true online privacy. The anonymous nature of the deep web means...
Bro, what type of person are you? Right? I'm referring to this last guy here. Like, that's your mother. Like, I don't get it, bro. I promise you, I don't understand. Like, listen. Everyone's childhood is absolutely different. I understand that. I comprehend it. We've had multiple conversations regarding how different people's upbringings are, obviously, and how the mothers are not all good. I get that, but it just blows my mind. I can imagine. I would rather my mother than anything else. Like, I'm just put something up. Just name something. I'm going to tell you right now. I'd rather my mother. I'm telling you. Name something. Just don't say air, because then that's going to be crazy. Or like water. Don't say that either. Right? That needs to exist still, basically. Right? And food. These three things mainly. Right? But if just put something out and be like, would you want this or your mother? My mother made me. Right? What are you talking about, bro? That's crazy. I like my mother. She's nice. Very nice. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Definitely go hug your mother immediately. I demand it. Catch you guys later.